What's going on? Welcome to the 411 podcast. It's freestyle sessions tonight, and we got a special guest coming through. But before we go ahead and get into this, I want to say thank you to the people out there on Facebook. Thank you for liking, sharing, all of that great stuff. I appreciate you. Instagram family, you might want to head on over to Instagram tonight because my special guest will be coming through Instagram Live. And I really have to say thank you so much to people out there on Twitter. Thank you so much. I'm not sure where the love came from, but I appreciate it. So you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Laren Gaines, YouTube. I appreciate you as well. You can check out the experience on YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, and you can also get small clips of the show on Daily Motion, everything at Laren Gaines. So I'm not quite sure what has been going on lately, but for some reason, I've really been listening to this Kelly Rowland song, and I know it was back in 2007. It's not even anything that's, brand new, but I really have been listening to this. Kelly Rowland, Like This, featuring Eve off of the Miss Kelly album. For some reason, I just like the beat, and I just woke up one day and was bumping Like This. So, song of the day, Like This, Kelly Rowland, off of the Miss Kelly album. Yeah, I think you can let me know what your favorite Kelly Rowland song is. She has a couple hits out there that make sense to me. So I don't know if it makes sense to you if you're a Kelly Rowland fan. Um, she's one of those ones that are like almost like secretly hidden, if that makes sense. Some artists just don't get the credit that they deserve, and I believe that when it comes to Kelly, this is one of them. Like This, featuring Eve. 2007, we had to take it back a little bit. I don't know. It's just that beat for some reason I was on it. In Richmond, Miss Shantae, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. We're going to get you pulled up in a minute. But before we do that, always give thanks and give credit where credit is due. And I have to say thank you to each and every one of you out there for supporting the 411 podcast. Erica Acuff, she came through the other night, so please go ahead and check out that replay. Definitely had a great conversation with her, and she opened up and shared what she does to juggle everything in her busy world. So Erica Acuff, my special guest from a couple nights ago, please go ahead and check out that replay. Mr. Ian West, thank you so much for coming through and supporting as much as you do. I appreciate you. Ariana, thank you and your mom for coming through and supporting as well. 411 Podcast, I appreciate it. Check out Ariana Covington and also check out her mother, Miss Desiree Covington. Thank you so much as well. Simply Unique LLC was on a couple weeks ago. You can go ahead and check out that replay as well. Mr. Will Serve, We Good Media. I appreciate y'all as well for coming through night after night. Ro Wang, all the way from Korea, South Korea. And we also have Christopher as well. Christopher Temporelli is from South Korea as well. So both of those artists are from South Korea, and they have been on the 411 podcast, In Between the Wine. So please go ahead and check out those replays as well. Switch Thrift Clothing Company, aka Switch Boutique. I appreciate you as well. Shanti Refuge, I speak about her almost every night, my friend. She has 26 journals. Please go ahead and check her out on Instagram. And the Moon Goddess, the Butterfly Moon Goddess, Miss Darielle Rogers. They definitely do their thing on Facebook. You really have to go ahead and look her up. Darielle Rogers, Butterfly Moon Goddess on Facebook. They go on, I think, about like 9 o'clock every now and then. I don't have their schedule down, but they definitely do the thing. So go ahead and check out those ladies and get a reading from them. I believe their readings are like $11.11. 1111. Check out Butterfly Moon Goddess, my friend, Miss Darielle Rogers. Let's go ahead and rewind this thing and get my guest up here real soon. So we talked about how I gave a great analogy the other night about how if you're in a grocery store, if you're anything like me and you just run in and you think you're going to get one or two things. One or two things ends up turning into 3 or 4 things, 5 or 6 things. And all of a sudden you got all of these things in your hand and you want to pick up one other thing and you have to make that decision. What am I going to put down so that I can pick up this one thing that I want. So, some cases you have to leave something behind in order to be able to pick up something and move forward. So, that's my analogy. And in life, we got to go ahead and put some things down. We have to leave some things behind. We might have to leave some people behind in order to move forward. So, if you think about it in your life, what did you leave behind in order to move forward? Simple, just simple rhetorical questions that we sometimes have to get with ourselves. And the problem is that when you don't get with self, when you don't leave something behind, and you start to try to juggle, and you try to hold on to so many different things and put so many different things in your arms and your hand, after a while you continue to keep pushing and forcing and putting new things in your arm, something is bound to fall and drop and break. Typically that happens in some relationships when people decide to collect people. I call them the people collectors. They can't decide what they want, who they want, so they try to juggle and they try to hold on and they try to keep too many different things going all at once. And you can't spread your energy sources amongst too many different things before there becomes a problem. So, what did you leave behind? Sometimes you might just have to leave something behind and say, listen, I want to pursue this over here. So, if I keep messing with you over here, this is going to mess up this thing that I got going over here. So, I'm going to have to just put this on pause or just let you go in your own direction, and I'm going to continue to move forward in my own direction so that I can make this thing work best for me. What did you leave behind in order to move forward? Now, after you do that, people may not like the decisions that you make. What's going on, Sev Raps? I want to give a very shout out to Sev Raps. Definitely hooked us up here tonight. So, Raps by Sev Raps. Y'all go ahead and check Sev Raps out on Instagram. That is SEVWRAPS. Wearing Sev Raps tonight. So once you decide to make that change in life, no matter what point you're at, there are going to be people who do not like the decision that you've made because they want you to continue to be spiraling out of control. They want you to continue to be whatever you were, all over the place, wide open, so that they can take advantage. But once you start to wisen up a little bit and start to get it together and you start to cut things off and you cut people off, somebody is going to have something to say about it. So here's the question. Simple question. Easy question. Once you get it together, you start to realize, and I'd be like, oh, thank God that I actually realized today who the hell I am. Because when you don't know who you are, it's just a bad situation. But what are a few things that you just don't give a fuck about anymore? Honestly, just straight up. And I know it sounds harsh, but it is what it is. Today, I don't give a fuck about these things. I used to in the past. I used to be spiraling out of control. I used to be a lunatic, heart racing, can't think straight, blacking out the whole nine. What are some things that you just don't give a fuck about anymore? Now, I had to write down a couple things because my life has changed so much and I have left so many things behind. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget anything. But a couple things that I really don't give a fuck about anymore, and I continue to remind myself every day. And sometimes, we're all human. Sometimes we flip up and slip and be like, what is this like? Or I wonder what that is like. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Do you remember this? Do you remember that? And then I get it immediately and I'm like, absolutely. Sometimes I got to remind myself where I come from so that I know where I'm going. Because I never want to forget these things because it'll get tripped up and I'll get lost up into another situation. Things that I really don't give a fuck about anymore. And if you're out there, if you're watching this replay, whenever, however, you let me know some things that you really don't care about anymore. Chasing people. I'm just so good right now when it comes to chasing people because I've chased people all my life. And I'm so good when the things that I desired and I wanted in the past that used to control me, because there were a couple things that controlled me and that made me get out of control. I can turn it down now and I could be like, I'm so good. I'm going to just sit over here in my corner and I'm going to do what I got to do. And whatever situation comes up, comes up. I have that conversation with my creator every single day. I know that Laren wants this, but do you want me to have this? And if not, We ain't supposed to go here. We ain't supposed to entertain or interact with this person, this group, this crowd. I'm so good with it today. Chasing people is what I don't do. 2022 showed me the real people that were in my life. I can't even tell y'all how many fake people was following, liking, commenting, doing everything, coming on the shows, inviting me on their shows. Then they turned around and they, did the 180 on me, stole some shit from me, whatever the case may be. I don't chase people. It is what it is. Let them have it. When it comes to chasing people, another thing that I've realized that I tripped up before in the past is reminiscing too much in the past and thinking about some old flames that have died, always trying to go back and trying to ignite it to see if it's still there. I don't give a fuck anymore. Straight up. Honestly, I really don't. Old flames that have died. So now I had to make that mistake. 2020 really had me making some mistakes because I was shut down and I was like, can't go anywhere. Let me go ahead and reach out to this and see if this flame is still working. Let me go ahead and reach out to this one and go down memory lane here, see how they feeling about me. Old flames that don't work anymore because them bitches have died. It's done, it's over. Ain't nothing but dust and charcoal pieces. I don't give a fuck about that anymore. I really don't. What are some things that you just don't give a fuck about anymore? This is freestyle sessions tonight. Y'all want to go ahead and talk to me tonight? Come right on in. Request me live on Instagram because that's what we doing tonight. What people say behind me. What people say behind my back. I really don't care about that. And I used to worry about it so much. What did he say? What did she say? What did they say about me? When you told them that I wasn't coming, what were their facial expressions like? Did they say this and that, the next, the other? When I went to the bathroom, did people, have something to say when I wasn't around? I have had straight up fist fights over what somebody said about me, what your friend said about me, what I thought that they said about me. And I didn't like the way that she was looking at me. And what are some things that today you just really don't give a fuck about anymore? Number one thing, one of the number one things, what other people think of me. I used to worry so much about what people think of me, what people said about me. I really don't care because they going to still talk. The more you continue to be you and be the great being and a great person that you are, people always going to have something to say. Always. What are some things that you just don't give a fuck about anymore? This is a tough one. The materialistic things. And not so much about the materialistic things that I have because I get everything that I need. And every single bit of clothing, jewelry, accessory, whatever it is that I want, God gives me just enough that I need. And I work with what I got. And I'm not too busy worried about what somebody else has. And that's another thing because I was always, materialistic in the past. Not so much about the things that I had, but always being concerned about what somebody else had. And looking at their glow up and looking at what they're doing and comparing it to mine. I was content with mine, but then I never liked to be stacked up against somebody who was just doing a lot. So a lot of times that's a lot of big show and stuff like this. And listen, I know what the credit card bills are like. You can go ahead and drive around in this fancy car and you can live in this fancy house and you can go ahead and ball as much as you want to ball out in public. But at the end of the day, when you can't sleep at night, when you tossing and turning, when you got to work 2 and 3 jobs, I refuse to sit here and kill myself and drive myself fucking crazy because I want to sit here and worry about what the fuck I'm wearing and what I'm driving in and where I'm living at just to please somebody else. Now I'm going to put all this stress and all this hell on me and smiling in public and shit like that. And then behind closed doors, I'm falling apart and hitting the floor and asking God to get me out of the stupid situations that I got myself in. I'm good with all that. What are some things that you just don't give a fuck about anymore? And listen, you might not be going through it today. Maybe that's a good thing that you ain't going through it today. Learn from some of these mistakes that some people have made. And you want to know how you really can get through and really understand? Somebody who has lived life. talk to somebody who is older and been there before, and they'll let you know. And they will always try to give you the tools and the things that you need. But the key is, are you going to listen? Because I've been warned so many times by grandparents, by my parents. Listen, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. And I even tell my children to this day, every time I see them, I see you balling. I see what you got. I see what you're wearing. I know what you're doing. I was there once before too. What are some things that you just don't get? Sometimes you just have to go through it in order to figure it out. But when you're in that storm, remember, where we are here today is because of the things that we thought, things that we spoke, and then the actions that we played got us exactly where we're right here today. So if you ain't here today, that's cool. Good. All right, let's see what we got going on here tonight. We have Miss Shantae coming in the building tonight. Let's pull her up and see what's going on. Are you ready out there? Sev Raps, you still out there tonight? Hopefully I didn't scare you away. I ain't scare you away?
No, I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I know I was doing a little bit too much, probably.
I know you got that wine. You feeling fine, huh?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. No complaints. It's a cool night. It's not too hot and muggy, so I ain't complaining.
Where you at? Where you at that it ain't hot and muggy?
I'm in the mountains. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in these mountains.
So it's a different...
Get a full breeze at night.
Oh, okay. Different elevation, I guess.
Yeah, we high up.
That's what's up. What's going on, Miss Bethany? How you doing there from California? So we here. We were supposed to do reading between the wines this week, but scheduling conflicts. That's cool. That's why we got freestyle sessions to make it work and do what it do. So you're in here tonight to talk about your book and stuff.
Yes, I appreciate you making some extra time for me because I know schedules get hectic. So
yes, they do.
Appreciate that and welcoming everybody.
So we met each other on Twitter.
Yes.
Crazy how it happened, but it's good. Twitter is interesting. It's very hard. I can't tell you how it happened because half of the time I don't know what the hell I'm doing on Twitter. But
me neither.
I don't know what the hell. I'm like, all right, retweet, like this, that, and then sometimes I think I like something, and then I go back and it wasn't liked, and I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but Twitter is tricky. But thank you to everybody from Twitter because they've been doing their thing lately.
Yes, Twitter definitely comes through. I like Twitter.
Yeah.
I know it's not as much drama. I mean, all the social media networks are drama, but I feel like Twitter's a little more mature.
Now, do you come across any drama? Because I have had a few things happen, but I shut it down immediately. Like, do people really come?
Sometimes there's like one or two, but overall, Twitter has been good to me.
That's good. I mean, I've had people come on D Live and cut up Instagram. I've had a couple people say things. I'm so tired of people trying to ask me what my Cash App thing is and what would you do if you had $35,000 deposited in your account. I be wanting to say so many things like cuss words in the beginning. What would you do with that type of money? What is you asking me for? But
right.
do you
know what you would do?
do you get that? People.
Yeah, them scammers be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could get you a SBA grant. Like, I'm good, honey. I don't want nothing to do with the feds. I ain't giving you no information. I'm good on that.
Yeah.
I don't play with none of those 3-letter entities.
I hear you. You say less.
No IRS, no DEA. I don't want nothing to do with that.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't mess with them neither. So, all right. So, the name of your book, what we talking about? How many books do you have?
I actually have like right now I have about 16 or 17 that are actually published and for sale. So
What? Oh my
they're like
goodness.
books. They're mini ebooks. So they're designed for parents because I'm a mom, so
Mm-hmm.
I know how it is. Sometimes you just need that quick solution when you have an issue that you don't have, 3 days to solve the problem. You got 15 minutes. So
15
the books
minutes.
are designed. The books are designed to digest easily. Like my 10-year-old daughter could read it in like 15 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
you're at a fourth grade level. You're in good shape. You could process the information.
So, that's a lot of. When did you get started on these books?
Well, I've been writing for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
but actually just started publishing them earlier this year. Like you were saying, like the pandemic just really opened doors and inspired me to do something different. Just pushed me in a different direction, and I just had to let go of some old things to go on this new journey.
I feel you. Mine was people. I had to let people go. What?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you let some people go. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
feel you. You gotta let them go, because if not, then you're just gonna get stuck in that quicksand. And the thing is that they'll watch you. They'll watch you get to you right up to here, and then they'll be like
And
deuce, and they'll be like deuces. The whole time
yes,
they tricking you, thinking that they gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? You get right up to here,
and
and
they
then they turn their
got
back. So the latest book, what's the title of it?
my latest ones that I actually are getting ready to get published are eczema hacks because my youngest daughter has eczema. So I did some eczema hacks that are not, it's not medical advice. It's just some things that I do to help my daughter's skin and that are not so costly because it can get costly and it's harder because my daughter had it since she was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was a baby, she couldn't tell me like, "Mom, my skin is itching," or
Right.
she was just scratching to the point where she was just bleeding, open sores.
Mm.
So I had to make my own solution because these doctors ain't built for everybody. So the remedies they were trying to give us were just not working for her. So I had to come up with my own, and I feel like those little tricks and tips that I use could really help a lot of people that may be going through the same scenario because it's not easy. Like I said, when you have a little tiny baby that can't tell you what's going on.
Right. Okay, so I like that. So we have eczema. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about that. So let's go back a couple books since you have so many. So we have that one. What are some other things?
I have the panic attack relief one up there.
Now, is that one
So
for the parents or for the children?
it's for everybody. It's
Okay.
like my the same daughter. She just goes through all the phases. So I'm going through them with her.
Mm-hmm.
I have been. This is my first time. I'm a first time. This is as her mom the first time. It's my second daughter, but I'm still first time mom to her.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm learning, all the different things that I'm going through with her, and I see improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to leave that behind so others could help as well. But everything that I do can be used from infants to the elderly. So, like I said, it's not medical advice and it doesn't have anything to do with medicine. It's all like natural, holistic type ways to overcome, depression, anxiety, constipation. I got it all in there.
Okay. Okay. So we got eczema. We got panic attacks. Okay, give us some more.
We got the constipation. We got poop it out. For like I said, it goes from infants to adults. We got the home remedies for cough, fevers, and congestion. Like I said, everything even the remedies, even babies can't deny them. So,
Mm.
everything is for infants. Like one of the things I have on there is like for fevers. Fevers are dangerous.
I used to freak
So I
out
always try
also.
to tell.
I would freak
Yes,
out.
fevers are really dangerous, and like when it's babies, they're kind of hard to break. So
Mm.
one of the things that I used to use on my daughter was ice pops. People
Mm.
don't think about that, but it breaks the fever fast, and she never turned down the ice pop.
I was always ready to run to the emergency room. That's the type of parent I was. Like
Yeah. But
100.
my thing was, I'm a working mom too. So it's like, sometimes I would get out of work 10 o'clock at night picking them up from daycare, and I
Mm.
got to be back at work the next day at 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, it's 11 o'clock. Do I really want to send an emergency room till 4 o'clock in the morning? Like, just for them to send her home with Tylenol, Motrin, and call it a
I hear
day?
you. I hear you. Hmm.
I'm gonna give you this ice pop. If the fever don't break in the next hour, then I know
I
it's
think.
serious.
I
But
think as parents though, you learn that the second time around. The first time around, you at the emergency room all the
yeah,
time. You are.
even my first daughter, I didn't go to the emergency room, but she wasn't a problem child like that. She just chilled. The second one is like, let's turn up. We want to go to the doctor for everything. Every week we got a new
The
problem.
second one.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. Mine was different. Mine was my first one. Always there at the doctor's for the first one.
Yeah. That's the second one for me. It's
So,
just different out here.
so you gonna give us a little bit of something? Are you prepared
from
from wherever you pick it?
from my books.
Yeah. Hmm. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I have a couple things I can pull up on my laptop that I'm working on.
Okay. Oh, and then
Just
while you doing that, you have anything new coming? Are you working on anything currently?
yeah, I have a couple of pieces that I'm editing right now. I've been doing a lot of like empowerment speeches and events. Because my kids have their own business too, so they've been working this summer. They've been getting invited to events. I've been doing my thing, so I got a lot of books on the back end, but they're still coming.
So I know you said it was.
they're
You said it was
Some
very
are half ready, some are half completed, some are still with the editor. So
okay. Now I know you said it
it's
was
at
very
different
very
stages.
important for you to talk about the empowerment. When you say empowerment,
Yeah.
who are you sending that out to? Who's that being directed to? Other moms?
Uh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I feel like moms, as mothers, we kind of got to put our life on hold for our children until they are less needy.
Hmm.
Not to say fathers don't, because like I said, my knowledge is universal. Like the books that I write are not just, only for moms, but they're more geared towards moms and the schedules that we have, so we don't really have too much of that downtime. So the more you can process at an adult level, because, sometimes you got to shrink it down to kids level to get
Is
through to them.
now
So
is this to empower moms in general or specifically for single moms? What inspired you to want to empower other people?
I feel like I
No.
feel like
Oh,
I'm
here we
kind
go.
of both.
I thought we had
I'm a
stuck a little.
single mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom
Hmm.
because I work nights, so I'm with my kids all day long. So it's kind of like for stay-at-home moms because I've ran across a lot of stay-at-home moms that say they could feel like single moms too sometimes because their partner you know does the financial end and they take care of the household. So for me, like I do both. So I could, like I know there's that fine line there, but it's like you still got to make time to be yourself. Like, you can't get lost in that. I feel like as moms, we time and time again get lost in being a parent and just forget our own identity. Like, as parents in general, fathers too. Like, because I know a lot of single fathers that raise their kids too, and it's tough out here.
Yeah, I think you should make a book for the fathers too. I think you should.
Well, like I said, the knowledge is universal. Like, because men get constipated too. Men get depression too. Men get anxiety too.
Oh, okay, so now you talked about depression. That's important to me because I think that people skate over it and people frown upon it, I say, or it gets a bad rep, bad light. I think that everybody goes through some form of depression. It's just all on how
Yeah.
you get yourself together and how you present yourself in public. And the worst thing to do is to put on a fake front. Like day now, when I'm not feeling it, I just say I'm not feeling it today. I'm really not. I'm in a effed up mood today. A lot of people skate past it and hold it in, and then when you get behind closed doors, you're suffering. I used to be that type of person. So, what are some things that we're going to get out of the depression book that you have? What is it called actually?
It's called, actually, that's the book I actually pulled up to actually give some tips about.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's called Deep But I Press On, because it, like you said, it does get deep when you're those late nights that you're by yourself and you have nobody. Like, it's like, how do you move forward from that? Like, sometimes you don't want to get out of bed, and I've had those days too. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not exempt from any of those attacks. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that and the more I'm learning about it, it's actually more interesting than I actually thought. But one of my remedies in there is head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Just like the old
The
song.
song, yeah. Okay.
So that's actually the remedies I use, because a lot of the times when we have depression, people are like, "Oh, get up and go do this and go do laundry and go clean your house," and it's like sometimes it's not that simple, Like, so one of the things I have on there that really helps is lotioning my feet, like lotioning my toes.
Okay,
So
so self care, that's very important. Very
yes,
important. Like tell
yeah,
you I'll tell you a secret about myself. I notice that I will get depressed if I'm not groomed properly. That
yes,
bothers me. So
yeah,
don't let me go like a whole week without shaving and then forget and then get caught up with the everyday routine of everything that's going on. And then all of a sudden I'm wondering why am I in such a I feel like cussing tonight. I'm so sorry, but why am I such in such a fucked up mood? And I'll look in the mirror and realize that I didn't shave or I missed the haircut session or whatever, and that's a problem for me. And the people
yeah,
that I were around, they didn't understand that when I said I have to make this appointment. Don't be taking no pictures of me when my hair ain't right and stuff like that. Um, that's a problem, and that's one of the reasons why I wear head wraps too. Because this was I didn't always wear head wraps, but you want to talk about somebody having an attitude and really getting into it? Take a picture of me and catch me off guard, and I wasn't prepared for it. I just
it
don't
gets
do it.
real.
But yeah, and then I look at the pictures or whatever, or look at the video that was recorded, and then I feel like you know what, you better than this. Not that you always got to be looking a certain way, but I have to take care of myself to make sure that I feel comfortable. And if I'm not comfortable around this situation, it's not going to work for me. And
I agree.
that's just it.
I agree.
I have spent way too many times being out there looking.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
It gives you
Exactly.
that extra confidence too, like feeling good about yourself,
Hmm.
smelling good, all
Oh
that.
yeah,
Like,
that's another thing.
you just feel more confident and more like, even if you having a bad day, it just makes it better. Like, oh well, I still look good. I still feel
Hmm.
good.
But that's so important though. Like when you start to do things to make you feel better about you, and
Yeah.
once you feel better on the inside, it's going to pour out on the outside, and then people around you will feel that way about you. When you walking around and you
Yes.
looking ugly and you feeling ugly, that's what people see, and that's what their reaction is going to be behind you.
Yes, for sure. You
Yeah.
definitely receive what you put out there, and
Mm-hmm.
that goes on. Every level. It's not just your attitude; it's the physical too.
Absolutely.
Like
I want to say what's up to Onyx Blade out there on Twitch. Thank you for coming through. He says, "Hey, Laren, just stopping by to say hello." Also, just want to say that everyone experiences sadness, which is so true. And he says, "I don't think everyone experiences depression." I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I thought they did. I don't know.
I'm not an expert either,
The
but
difference between
it's but if your sadness gets out of control, not everybody knows how to mourn correctly because with sadness and grief comes mourning. You have to move through those stages, and a lot of people don't move through those stages. They stay
they
stuck in
stuck.
anger or
Absolutely. Yes. That's the thing.
so. It is based on the individual. That's for sure. Some people could just not feel sadness like that, like, oh, just hurt for that day. Then tomorrow I'm back to work, back to my routine. I could compartmentalize
I can't do
that.
that. I can't.
I can't do
That
that
word
either.
bothers me. That word whole word bothers me, and I had to dissect it last year or something like that when someone was saying this person just compartmentalizes shit, and I'm like, so you just do stuff and then just throw it in a corner and forget about it? I can't do that. That's not me. I don't do that type of stuff. And
Yeah,
I can't do that. Mm-mm.
I can't have my conscience like feeling heavy like
But
that.
that's the thing, they don't, because they do it and they put it somewhere to where it don't even.
Like
I,
exist.
just like
Yeah, that's not
I'm
me.
you know
I'm
what
not that person.
I'm thankful that I'm not that person, because that's where a lot of hurt comes. That's where a lot of you start to destroy other people's lives, and I believe in the word
Yes.
karma way too much. It may not happen
Yes.
today, it may not happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen.
I agree. I agree. Maybe I feel like it's almost like a humbling experience to go through. To not to go through to overcome depression is like a humbling experience when you're able to look back at it like, dang, that was meant to destroy me, and here I am still standing, a better person.
Hmm.
I learned from that, like so that's.
I would say when it came to my depression, um, it was always because of not knowing how to love self. First of all, not even knowing how to accept self. Today, like I said, a couple things that we don't give a fuck about is what people think about me. This is me. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to wear. This is the whole nine. And I still continue to speak these things into myself. And it's so funny that once you think that, the things that you were afraid of, all of a sudden people start to love you for the things that you were afraid of.
Yeah.
So this has been coming for so many years. I was just so afraid. So once I stopped being afraid, I'm not depressed about that. I'm not concerned about that. That's good. And then now I had to peel back, the onion a little bit more. And it was like, okay, so now that we can go out here and be who you are, you're dressing the way that you want to dress, you're doing the things that you want to do. But what is it, that one thing that's still bothering you? And the next thing that it was still, you have to look inward. You don't love yourself enough because you're still out there chasing people. You ask for all of
Yes.
these things, you got all these great things going on, but you still have that issue of chasing people. So I had to fix that too, because I thought I was curing my depression by attaching myself to people. Okay, so I'm depressed and I'm down, so let me go ahead and attach to you. Now I'm making myself feel a certain way. It works for a little bit, but then it starts to
Yeah.
get stagnant, and then you start to get back to the same old situation. So now, what's better? And I know that this is not right. You want to be depressed by yourself and have a way of getting out, just worrying about yourself, or you want to be depressed along with somebody else, and now you got to worry about their attitude and their issues, and then yours and all that.
Right.
You got to get yours together first.
Said that. Yes. definitely got to step back in situations like that. And you see a lot of people like hurt people. Like you got to heal yourself, and then you help other people heal. People get so caught up in thinking they can heal other people. Like you can't heal somebody that's not ready for that. Like you can't. We're as adults now. You cannot force an adult to do what an adult doesn't want to do.
No,
Like,
and that's the thing. And if I could look back at the old me, I'd be like, what the hell were you doing? You sitting here running around here trying to help people and save people. You couldn't even yourself.
mm-hmm.
Here I am, dressing things up, making myself look good, jacked up on the inside, thinking that you can put on any type of clothes, spray any type of expensive cologne or whatever to make the situation feel good and look good, and thinking that you're gonna help somebody else. You can't help anybody else. You can't even help yourself.
Right.
So self love, I would say, is one of the big things that you need to continue to work on. It's not something that you conquer. That's a job every single day, for me anyway.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And there
You
will
definitely that's forever. Like finding yourself is forever. Like you could change every day. Something from an hour ago could have changed you. Like a traumatic event can happen that could change you in a minute. Like you're a different
yeah.
person every day, so you really have to do soul searching every day.
2 days ago, I didn't want to be bothered. I was like, ugh. But I had to be bothered. But 2 days ago, I did not want to be bothered. So I understand, and that's why, you got to continue to work and you got to continue to do the process, have those positive affirmations going to snap you out of it. Whatever is when you can't snap back. When yes, you will get those days when you don't want to be bothered, but you still continue to go down that dark, deep hole, and you don't know how to turn around and stop that negative thinking and stop that immediately. And then don't get around somebody who's negative just like you, and that's your best friend. Now,
you can't even let go of them. You get so caught up in it, you don't even realize that drowning each other. Like,
and the worst part is when a light bulb goes off and you start to wake up, right? And you look around the room and you see that every single person that you were hanging with, the light bulb didn't go off for them, but it went off for you. And now you're trying to back away, but then you love them and you're trying to like say, hey, listen, this is the breakthrough that I'm experiencing right now. And every time that you try to level up, they just there to pull you down. And they have to say something negative or they don't feel what you're feeling, and that's the tough part. And the only way that you can get through is just like what I said before. Sometimes you got to leave some things behind, and you change, right? When you change, the people around you will change. Either they're gonna change with you and they're gonna flow with you and they're gonna level up too, or they're gonna turn in the other direction, and that's okay. You have to be content with that because you can't take everybody with you.
At all. Everybody can't fit in a limo,
No, they can't. Hmm. This is some good conversation. I appreciate this. So we have Enrich Mom, all the way from Pennsylvania. My neighbor, I'm in New Jersey. She's from Pennsylvania. I think we met, what, maybe 2 months ago? Has it been?
Yeah, it was a few months back.
Yeah,
it was a few months.
Yeah. Talking about the books that she has written. She has 16, right? We got a little connection issue. Hopefully we don't lose her. 16 books that has written. And 16 books. I got it right. We got a little connection. 16 books. And where can I get them at?
I have them on Etsy. There you can find them ebooks by Enrich Mom. Also on Gumroad, enrichmom1.gumroad.com. And my links are also in my bios on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Enrich Mom.
Okay, all right. I had no idea that they sell books on Etsy. They sell some of everything on Etsy.
You can sell anything on Etsy. Etsy is a good platform, especially when it comes to digital products.
Mm-hmm.
Because Etsy is a worldwide platform. So people from all over the world could, get your stuff. That's one of my big things. I know it's not only moms in the United States that experience things. So to be able to reach out to moms all across the globe is a whole nother level of a vision that I can't even, like
Listen,
it's bigger than just me.
I understand. I'll be like, how the hell did this happen? Sometimes I'll be like, because I'm still living in a dream most of the time. So when it comes to
Yeah.
that international love, which I embrace on all different levels, um, what's like the most popular area other than the U.S.? Do you have
I
track of
can.
that?
I've had some downloads from in Canada.
Okay.
A couple places I had to Google because I
You
never
didn't
even heard of
understand what they?
them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
like, one was in like Luxembourg. I'm like, that was my first international download, Luxembourg, and that's like I think it's like around London, but I get a lot of love from the Philippines actually.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. All right, all right.
So those are my main ones right there. Philippines and Canada definitely show up.
Shout out to international love. I think that is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I was shocked when
Yes.
I was speaking to someone from Iran. Like that
Oh wow.
is very different. And having
Yes.
a full on conversation with somebody from Iran, I thought that was mind blowing.
Yes.
So take time to let us know where we can follow you at and what platforms you're on. We
I'm
are
on Facebook, Enrich Mom, and Instagram as well. All my tags are Enrich Mom, and the handle is actually Enrich Mom One, ENRICHMOM.
all right because you're enriching people's lives. Is that where you came from?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, empowering, through knowledge, because enrich is actually like it's abundance of like knowledge. It comes in abundance, because once you learn something and you tell somebody else, you create multiplication. So that's
Hmm.
where the name came from.
Okay, okay. Now I'm gonna run through some questions real quick. And you just, say whatever comes to their mind right off the top. I know that I didn't fill you in on any of this, so this is going to be right off the dome.
All right,
Is your
sounds good.
is your manipulation era over? Is it God's plan or is it your plan? And this is just a personal thing. Do you feel that your own personal manipulation era is over? Do you do it your way? You still got your plan written out, or do you just say, "Hey, listen, God, whatever you want to happen, let it be what it be."
I mean, to be 100% honest, I 99% go God's way because that's the best way to be honest. Like it's like divine order. Like I don't even have to work hard for it. But I do have, things. Wait, I'm not perfect. I still have things in my life that I need to work out, and I know some things and some people I need to get away from.
Hmm.
So, but in my head, I'm stubborn. Like, but I love them. Are you sure, God?
Mm.
You sure you want me to cut them off? But so those things are tough. Like you said, especially when you love a person, it's hard to keep it moving. So I know in that sense, I'm a little stubborn doing it my way. But like I said, overall, I definitely try to just walk in divine order and divine guidance. Take the
Listen,
easy route.
it's so funny that you said that. I had to learn this year. I had to learn when it comes to God's plan because I was doing a lot in the beginning of this year, and I would have those same conversations. Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? And every time that I thought that I was just doing it right, he would like do some things that would just blow my mind to show me that I shouldn't be doing it. And then I just go
Mhm.
right in and think I'm doing it again. And then boom, I get smacked up again. So finally, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm so good with it. I ain't worrying about it. Whatever you say happens, happens. It is what it is. And he'll let you do certain things. Trust and believe. If you think that you still want to be attached to that person or still, handle that thing, he'll let you go through with it. But then he'll pull you back. and he'll let you go a little bit more, but then he'll pull you back. But I'm like, all right, I learned my lesson. I'm good. I don't know if anybody's
Right.
experienced that, but I mean, I know I personally have. And I mean, some crazy things. The stories that I could tell you, it's too much for me sometimes. How did this happen and that happen and this happen? And this person that didn't know this person, but all of a sudden, this whole big old circle just craziness. When it's crazy
Right.
like that, when it's so crazy and so deep like that, you know that you ain't have nothing to do with it. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Like you know, his hand was in there.
yeah,
Like.
because it was so crazy. Like, what are the chances that that could happen? It's like that one in a million happened, but all of a sudden it happened to me. uh, yeah, that's
Like,
not.
all right, so can I get that Mega Millions tonight too? Because I got that favorite random. Out
Oh
of that
man.
1 in a billion, it's me, so I'll take that Mega Billions too.
Now, how about this here? I treat myself way too good to put up with that. It is what it is. This is just one non-negotiable that I'm not dealing with it. I've been through too much. I've experienced enough. But this one thing right here, I'm just not putting up with.
For me, that's definitely like physical abuse, any type of abuse
Mm-hmm.
in general, physical, verbal. Like I just don't tolerate that in the sense, like if you could curse me out or tell me you want to put your hands on me or you would put your hands on me, like if you can't control your emotions, I can't tolerate that a little bit, like
I feel you
at
on
all.
that. I feel you. I would say for mine is the communication part. If you
Yeah.
can't communicate like a human being and you get me to a point where I feel like we got to go back and forth, I can't deal with that. Like we have to talk just like I'm talking here. And I would always say this to the people that I was interacting with the same way that I'm talking to you right now. Like if whatever happened yesterday, that's cool. But the same way that we talking here right now, here today, this needs to continue going forward because all of that back and forth, I can't do that. But like again, you stay in those situations and you continue to keep going through it. But here today, that's one non negotiable that I absolutely have to say. The minute that I start going back and forth with you, it's like a whole shutdown mode and it's good. We good. The next day, you're going to see a whole nother situation. You might not see anything. You might just see
Right.
dust tracks
Silence.
because we've already had this conversation, especially when you open up and you tell people your story and they understand it. And then you have people who push buttons on purpose. We don't got time for that today.
At
Mm-mm.
all. I'm
No.
not with that either.
Mm-mm.
Like we're all adults, you know. Like everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has their days. So you gotta give people grace. Like be
You,
kind.
you want to know what's so dope about that too, which I learned too, that even though if someone is ignorant, just because you might have that power of enlightenment and you might have elevated to the next level, you do not have to go back and forth with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It takes two people to start the situation and mess something up. So somebody could be acting crazy, somebody could be out of their realm, but that doesn't mean that you got to fall into the trap.
Right.
So someone starts to step outside of their character and they may do some things that are not right. That's where you have to have that good level of protection. You got to keep your mind good. You got to watch your mouth. Sometimes silence
Yes.
is everything, which I've learned. In order for me to get myself to where I'm at today, I had to learn how to sit down and shut up and be quiet. And all that
Yes.
back and forth does not always equal you winning. Even though you was winning, doesn't mean that, you know what
But
I'm
that
saying?
equals winning.
Like, listen, because this mouth here, it could do some damage. But I've learned that that's not good because that's some real damage. That's some permanent damage
Yes.
that you are
Absolutely.
releasing, not only into somebody else, but within yourself too. So
Yes, I agree. That's like planting seeds. Like hurting people, knowing the power of the tongue. Like and
yeah,
you're using it to hurt other people.
yeah,
You don't want it, and then when it comes back, you can't look like, well, how did this happen to me?
that keyword
So
karma. Because trust and
Yes.
believe, you were doing the most in this relationship, and I've had this happen. That's why I stay prayed up now, because you could be doing the most in one relationship and get out of it and think that you came on top because you done messed over somebody and you did this and you did that. That next relationship you get, watch what happens. Watch exactly what happens. It's going to be reversed, and then you're going to look up and you're going to say, I've seen this before. I've played this record before, but I played it on side A. Now it's playing on side B. Something's different today.
Right.
And so I truly believe that everything that you put out there
Yeah.
is going to come back to you one way or the other. So you better learn how to zip it up on many different ways, whether it's that stuff that's coming out of your mouth, whether it's you don't know how to, keep your pants zipped up and you all over there doing whatever. Trust and believe somebody gonna do it to you too. So it's gonna come back full circle.
It sure does.
Wow. Who knew that this would happen tonight? Great breakthroughs. I had no idea. Thank you for coming through. And I got one last burning question before we go ahead and get up out of here. So, what is the last thing that you lost, or something that you've lost that you wish that you could have back?
Um, something that I lost was just well, some things that I lost. I would say more or less a person that I lost would probably be more something that I want back than any materialistic thing.
Yeah.
So that would probably be it would probably be a person. I would probably have to say my dad because I miss being a spoiled little brat. But even
Oh.
though I still kind of am, but
Hmm.
I would say I feel like material things will always be replaced.
Yeah.
So if I could have something back that I lost, it would definitely be a person.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that too. And I don't know, because there are so many people that I have lost, whether it's they've been transitioned or just, in general,
Yeah.
friendships that have been lost. And when you think about now, today, that I have a heck of a lot more knowledge than I did before, and we talked about the power of the tongue and saying all kinds of crazy stuff and being out there, I think back to some of the conversations that I had and some of the breakups I've had and some of the breakdowns. And yeah, if I'd known what I known today, I probably would have handled things a little bit better. But everything happens for a reason. But
I
we,
agree.
I guess, in a selfish way, we kind of might want to, not so much the person, but I enjoyed the friendship, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Those connections and stuff like that. And
Yes.
sometimes we do things to, mess things up for ourselves. But that's why we
Yeah.
get another chance to, make it right the
Yeah.
next time around.
Being able to take accountability is a huge step in general, though. Like I know I messed up, and if I could, be able to make things right, like not everybody be like, "Wasn't my fault. I didn't do nothing wrong." So that's big
Yeah,
of you to actually say that
yeah, yeah,
not every relationship was their fault.
yeah, yeah. You have grown. I think you're an adult. I saw something on Twitter or whatever that says that you are an adult when you stop blaming other people. I don't care what the
Yeah.
situation might be. I don't care if she cheated, he cheated, this happened, that happened. You have played a role in something. Whether you didn't know when to leave when the red flag started the first time, you went along with it and you kept pressing play when you know damn well you should have stopped. You should have rewind that bitch a long time ago, but you kept on going. Now all of a sudden that he showed up or she did exactly what they did, now you want to blame them for it. No, you have to take some accountability for self and say, nope, you showed up in this world to be exactly who you are, because listen, God will plant evil people to come down your path for a reason, to teach you something. That don't mean you got to interact and go with them full forward. Like he's trying to
Right.
see if you are smart enough. So you
You
wasn't
gonna do the
smart,
right choice.
you know. So stop blaming people. Those people have been put in your life to come in and show you something. Now
Yeah.
I got it after, I don't know what, 4 times, but I'm all right now. Today I think I'm all right today.
Right.
I mean, I've
You gonna
had my
be smart. learn.
What's that?
In the block if you ain't learn.
Oh my God. It's like, you know what helps me today? The video game analogy. I use that a lot. Like, this is a game. You on level one, right? You gonna have to keep repeating it until you get it right. You don't have, and then you know what? You get to level two. Guess what? That same boss at the end of the game, it's the same person that you fought on level one, except they a little bit more bossed up. So if they a little bit more bossed up, you got to be. You know what I'm saying? You got to continue to be smart and elevate to the next level, or else you're gonna continue to keep fighting the same one. And
Every I watch them sneak.
yeah, somebody else told me another thing too. So repeating the same thing over and over again, right? So if you walk down the street and there's a big old pothole that you fall in, filled with water, how many times do you think you're going to continue to keep walking down that same street and falling into that same hole before you be like, you know what? I need to go walk around it. I need to go turn and do another, avenue or something. Like, that's another way to look at it too. When you continue to keep attracting and going through the same shit over and over and over and over again in your life, something ain't right.
Right.
And that's when I had to say to myself too, like, listen, this has showed up once again in a different form, in a different fashion. You need to pump these brakes and do something a little bit different.
Right.
But
you know the outcome's gonna be the same. You know that saying, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you.
yeah, things that we won't be doing anymore.
Yes, I'm definitely glad I outgrew certain things and people. Looking back,
Yeah.
it hurt was just like seeing them now. Like, what if I have been doing still around them?
You ever look back, right? Which I know we shouldn't do, but sometimes it's hilarious to me because I get a little confirmation for myself. But you ever look back or come across somebody from your past and be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Like, it's sometimes it's a little upsetting too. Like, really? You let yourself, you lost yourself over that? What's wrong with you? And then,
Same thing.
huh?
And they're still doing the same thing. Like,
And then
change a little bit.
And then also, too, people, when you have elevated to the next level, when you do the work and you come across someone new, you have these new experiences. That's another confirmation for you. Like, yeah, all right. Like, you never thought that you'd be able to get to this level because you was too busy playing with trash. You know what I'm saying? Just saying.
I hear that.
Well, you have anything you like to leave for us tonight?
Well, we covered a lot. Just
We did.
To be themselves, and I know, like we touched on depression a little bit, but at least try to have at least that one or two people in your corner that you can really count on if you really need to help. Reach out to someone, have someone you can trust for sure.
Yeah.
So I just want to have a good night and overcome any battles that they are facing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you, and we'll see you when we see you.
All right. Have a good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you for having me.
You too. Good night. Now, I don't know how to take it off. Okay, she's good. All right. There you have it, everyone. That's Miss Shantae, aka Rich Mom, all the way from Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for coming through. Uh, Instagram. I see Shay Newton out there. I see my brother Nate Perry from Brooklyn, New York. Onyx Blade was on Twitch. I believe you're from New York as well. Thank you so much for everyone for coming through tonight. I appreciate you. Now, if you would like to go ahead and support, please go ahead and click that link above all of my social media platforms. Again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. Thank you so much for coming through on Freestyle Sessions tonight. This is it. We're about to get on up out of here. Volume 1.5, Deliberation Remix Journal. Please go ahead and click that link and listen. some of the knowledge, some of the wisdom that you got here tonight. Listen, I definitely was not this person yesterday or the day before, the day before, the day before. This is an everyday, daily process of getting it together. And Volume 1.5 Deliberation Remix Journal is a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. And that's exactly what that means. And working towards becoming the master of your own mind. This is a daily job for me. I don't know about you, but I have to continue to surround myself by people that empower me. I have to be in places that make sense for me today. And I have to, you know, embark and indulge in things that make sense for me today. Because if not, the becoming a master of my own mind can backfire and it can be a complete disaster. So, becoming a master of your own mind is a step and it is a journey. And I don't believe that we will ever really get it 100%. Just like I said, it's a daily job. And I'm only giving you 30 days. This is just to get you towards a healthier mindset. From there, you have to go ahead and make it up and you have to do whatever works for you. I'm just telling you what works for me. I'm telling you a little bit about my past. I'm telling you right where I'm at here right now. And a little bit about where I see myself going in the future. And this is a journal, it's a remix journal. So I leave it open for you to go ahead and write the things and speak affirmations and do things that will make sense for you. Volume 1.5 Deliberation Remix Journal. Go ahead and click that link above all of my social media platforms. And I want to say I appreciate every single person out there who has supported thus far. This has been a journey and it's not over. We're going to continue to keep pressing on and moving on. And for the people who have been out there rocking with me since day one, I have to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. And remember, some people might stay, some people might go. That doesn't mean that you fold up. You have to continue to keep pressing on and moving on and doing what you need to do, which makes sense for you. At the end of the day, you have to take care of you. If you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else. Don't get it twisted. Don't go out there trying to go ahead and save this one and that one and the next one when you're sitting there drowning and you struggling yourself. We talked about it tonight. I want to say a very special thank you to Enrich Mom for coming through and sharing her story and giving us some wisdom and dropping that knowledge as well, because we all need it. We get it from anywhere. It could be your next door neighbor. It could be your best friend. It could be the person on your job. It could be that complete stranger that you just met for the first time. Every single person that we come in contact with, there is no coincidence. These people are lined up and they are put in your life to help teach you and help get you to the next level. This is a game, remember? What does this person, what does this situation, what does this thing right here mean to me? What does it mean for me getting to the next level? And that's it. This is life in general. And until then, I'm going to go ahead and cut it short because I can continue to keep going on and on and on and on, because this is what I do when it comes to talking about real life situations right here on the 411 podcast. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you all, and you have a good night. Take care now.